Hello, my name is Dmitry, and welcome to the DPLA channel. The outgoing year 2021 has been, let's say, quite an eventful one for me. I finally created my own YouTube channel. I enjoyed making videos, and I hope you like them too. Let's sum up what we've accomplished this year. Well, let's start with the contest we've been holding recently. So to speak, let's sum up the interim results. So for the engine development, we've received about 18 real applications. 2 people have already sent in draft projects, and they're actually pretty good. We'll wait until February, and I think we'll definitely have a winner, or maybe even 2. For the inverter, there are also about 15 real applications. There are not any draft projects yet, but I think by February we will have everything. For the quad bike, there are about 20 applications. The project is complicated, but in principle, I think something will come out of it. So to speak, things are moving along. But for the charger, there are only 3 real applications, so I don't know. I'm doubtful about that one. Maybe it's just that the project is too simple and not interesting to everyone. But there was a lot of activity. I met a bunch of wonderful people and talked to many of them on the phone. I think this idea will work out. I was also contacted by representatives from DDSO Systems. They are the makers of SolidWorks products, and they offered to be partners in this competition. Here's precisely what they have officially proposed. Those participants who successfully take both first and second place will each receive valuable SolidWorks software licenses, which are indeed the main and primary licenses. And also, if desired, for example, SolidFlow or Solid Electric. So that will also be a nice bonus because those licenses are quite valuable. Regarding the project for the turbine on the organic Rankine cycle, a piston expander was purchased. We'll be figuring it out. It's a huge, massive thing. We also found specialists who are ready to do the calculations if we decide to make a turbo expander, so that later it can be manufactured in metal at our own machining center. I think this idea will work out. So next year, I think we'll come back to this. Regarding the heat pump project, as I promised you, but unfortunately I haven't had time to make a video about a budget heat pump that is one made from inexpensive, readily available components. This will definitely happen. We've already started working on it. We initially tried making it with some very cheap, readily available heat exchangers sourced directly from AliExpress, but I quickly realized that this approach was, in fact, a rather bad idea. Still, you genuinely can't really make a truly proper and efficient heat pump out of absolutely nothing, or for almost nothing at all. But we'll try to make it from accessible components and keep the cost around 50,000 rubles for 8 kilowatts. I think we'll get to it sometime in February, when the projects are done. Moreover, I want to do it in such a way that afterwards, this finished heat pump will be given away, for example, to a subscriber who genuinely describes where they will use it. Well, folks, we're finally starting to put our greenhouse into operation. A lot of time has passed, there were many different problems, and there just wasn't enough time for everything. So we've loaded the soil, and now we're treating it with steam. We bought a 25 kilowatt steam generator and treated it in sections for half an hour each. Hopefully now there won't be any contamination. On the advice of people who said we could use white LEDs, well, general broad spectrum ones, we decided to try them on some of the beds. Now we're going to make our own like LED fixtures. I want to make a special aluminum profile along which the water will circulate and the heat will be discharged into the heating system. This way, the temperature on the diodes can be kept lower, they'll last longer, and their efficiency will be higher. We've divided our greenhouse into several sections. In one part, we're already starting to sow. Over here, we've started with greens. As for the rest, seedlings are growing. Here, our wheat is starting to head, though you can't see it yet. Over here, we've planted different types of onions and so on and so on. We've also added more fans to prevent stagnant air. They just keep the air. We also have a separate section for melons and gourds on the second level. There we'll maintain a higher temperature and lower humidity. So that's how it is. By January, everything here will be sown and put into operation. And we'll show you how it all goes. We need to set up a camera somewhere for a time lapse. Should be interesting. So That's how it is. Also, this year, folks, I bought some construction equipment. I prefer and really like the company JCB. I started with this kind of excavator and then, well, I just couldn't stop. It took off from there. Then came an excavator loader, and after that I got one that looks like a bobcat, but it's a JCB. And just recently, another one arrived, a 1 cubic meter dumper, though we haven't really tried it out yet. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. I can do a review of this equipment. We're not super professionals with it yet, but we know a thing or two. I can tell you about a lot of the details, about maintenance, about how it works. We're just getting started with all this, and there's a lot of work to do. For example, we need to dig out a pond. If you're interested, I'll film that too. Maybe JCB will give me something for it, but I won't ask. Here's a wheel, much like this one, that you can see. It's a bit overkill, and for the titanium cabin, it's rated at 12 kilowatts nominally, but damn, it's so big, I don't even know if it'll fit. But with it, for sure, it'll go. It weighs about 35 kilograms. We're going to install it. 2 of them just arrived. We ordered it directly from QS Motor, and they made it in 2 months. Yeah, of course, the unsprung mass will be insane, but at least it'll definitely have enough power. Blatant advertising. Yeah, blatant advertising. They just delivered it yesterday. Look, I wanted to show you what's here. So we've also been dabbling quite a bit in woodworking here, which has been a really enjoyable and rewarding experience. We took the initiative to set up a small dedicated workshop space to thoroughly try it out and explore various projects. If you're genuinely interested in seeing more of this, I can certainly film something comprehensive about that too. Perhaps a detailed tour or a project showcase. We've truly got all sorts of interesting and essential woodworking. For example, we even have a professional grade jointer, which is an incredibly useful and fundamental tool for preparing lumber. And inside, there's also a powerful DeWalt planer as well, which is also proving to be exceptionally good and highly efficient for achieving smooth finishes. This is Mr. Konstantin, who played the corpse in the previous video. He's the one working on this. Well, all right then, shall we go? These are the plans for next year. The very first and most important thing I would like to specifically mention is that for the thorough testing of the engine, which is indeed the primary subject of one of our current and exciting contests, we will definitely need a robust and reliable test stand. We've decided to build our own dynamometric stand based on truck retarder units and a rotating load cell. This will allow us to measure torque over a wide range, and by multiplying it by the angular velocity, we can get the power. So we'll be able to test engines across a broad spectrum and really understand how everything works. By the way, I specifically bought some engines on the cheap. These are the DS90 and DS120, which have Slavyanka windings. We'll really see what they're capable of. There will be a separate video about that, and of course it'll be useful for our own engines as well. We'll also, of course, continue our dedicated work on the innovative turbine, which is based on the highly efficient organic Rankine cycle. We will also keep diligently developing the important topic of advanced heat pumps, and we plan to finish up the robust titanium boiler. Furthermore, I think we'll definitely get into electric buggies, well, side-by-sides, something like a Maverick, so it really drives well. And we'll see from there. There's a lot of interesting stuff ahead. Also, a little spoiler. We're currently in this hall, which is in the final stage of construction. This will be my new, let's say, workshop laboratory. The systems that will be here, it's about 1,300 square meters. Upstairs will be my, so to speak, office and meeting room. There will be a cafeteria and so on. We'll be building the future here, so to speak, as best as we can. I've been building it for 1.5 years already, but it's almost finished. Soon we'll start with the interior work. If people are interested, I can talk about some of the technologies that were used here. For example, part of the building is finished with standing seam metal roofing. There's a standing seam roll forming machine and there's a bending machine. Well, if you're interested, I can talk about the construction process too. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you a Happy New Year. I hope it will be even more fun than the last one. No, so to speak, and that's the right way. Don't be afraid to start something new. Everything is in your hands. You are the master of your own destiny, so to speak. All the best. See you next year. Goodbye.